Knoxville. You'll see a lot of the athletes and coaches wearing his suits. Knox Heritage, Sertoma Center, the Mend House, Tennessee Innocence Project. And then just last year, he hosted his first fundraiser, a fashion show, and raised about $35,000 for Emerald Youth. Marcus has two daughters, 20-year-old Karma, 6-year-old Indigo. Let's please give a warm welcome to friend, customer, and a Knoxville native, Marcus Hall.
Well, thank you for having me, but I don't have anything else to say. First of all, I want to thank the Rotary Club for having me again to speak here today, and I appreciate you. But I've noticed one thing, and I'm not Holy Roller, but you guys didn't say a prayer today. I didn't say it, so do you mind if I say a prayer?
We did.
Oh, you did? I missed that. Okay. All right, sorry. So I'm gonna say another prayer. Dear Father, thank you for having us here today. May we touch someone's life in a special way. Today we pray, amen.
Amen.
Right on. So the introductory. I am Marcus Hall from Mark Nelson Denham, and for those who don't know me and know my story, I am a Knoxville native, and I'm sure you don't want to hear about the Black East Knoxville kid that grew up in the inner city, that started a Denham business and ran an illegal gambling operation and went to prison and came back and then started all over again. So she's like, oh, I want to hear that story. Today, I want to talk about where are we now in comparison to not only myself, but the Knoxville community and where are we going. So my name is Marcus Hall. I'm 53 years old, sorry. I grew up in East Knoxville. I tell that to the ladies I meet every day. So I'm 53 years old and I love Knoxville. I was raised in the East Knoxville community, went to Austin East, like as you said before, went to Vine, and my roots are deep here. My great-grandfather, who I'll tell you a little bit more about, worked at the TVA Credit Union. He was a janitor, or TVA, and he was a janitor. He wore a suit every day. I did not know what his job was until he died. And I was like, oh, my great-grandfather was a janitor. He literally wore a suit every day, and he taught me and my brothers, no matter who you are, you always want to leave the house looking like something. So, Mark Nelson Denham. For those that don't know, we are at 700 East Depot, and the inspiration for my company was, again, my great-grandfather. So we've been in business 13 years. Currently, we have a store here in downtown Knoxville, and we just opened another store in Lakeland, Florida. So if you don't know where Lakeland is, it's in the middle of Tampa and Orlando. It's a beautiful store and it's a beautiful story. The Publix grocery store family brought me there after hearing my story, and then we've been down there for now about 3 years. I want to tell you a little bit about my business model. We focus on 300 guys, 300 clients, and we get those clients to spend anywhere between $1,500 and $3,000 annually. We also have a subscription service. So for those who haven't been here and don't like to shop, there's a subscription service called MN Society. Not for you, David. You have too much money for MN Society. All right. So MN Society is every other month we fulfill or we put together a box for you, so you don't have to shop. You don't have to do anymore. We actually mail it to you, or you are welcome to come to the shop and pick it up and actually go through the process of deciding, oh, I don't need blue, I need white, I need dress shirts, I need khakis, or whatever. And that's every other month. Our third business model is we also do a deal called Bourbon and Blazers. So for you ladies, it's a Tupperware party for men. So we get you to come in and we bring a few of your friends and we put the bourbon down, and we have a great selection of bourbon from Knoxville Distilling Company and some, all the good stuff. We bring a charcuterie board together, and then we actually take your measurements, keep them on file. So in the future, if you need a product and you don't have time, we will actually tailor it and deliver it to you, or you can pick it up, or whatever the case may be. But that also makes it easy for the ladies to actually go, hey, Mark, my husband needs a suit or some khakis or jeans, and can you help us with that? There you go. So that's the other. And then obviously we have an e-commerce, which is actually our lowest earning product. So the Levi's factory had such an impression, and that's why we were called Mark Nelson Denham. My family and my brothers, and if you lived in the East Knoxville community, you knew someone or someone in your household worked at the Levi's factory. When I was a kid and I went to Greene Elementary, I'd stand outside and every person in that line would have a product that was made by Levi's, which was then made in the United States of America. So we were very proud of the Levi's factory. So my dream was, when that factory closed, was to bring something to Knoxville that I would be proud of, and I would hire people that we would all be proud of, that we would touch, and that we could potentially sell throughout the world. And that's something that would be made right here in Knoxville, Tennessee, in our own backyard. When that Levi's factory closed, it not only took jobs away, but it took dreams and careers and future. Because if you worked at the Levi's plant, when people actually did things with their hands, you made a better life for your kids. You were able to send them to college. You had vacation. You had health care. You bought a home. As a matter of fact, my stepbrother Xavier left high school, went to work at the Levi's plant, bought a brand new car, bought a house, and took care of his family for a few years. And when you lost that job, you literally killed that. People got evicted. People went from working at the factory that they didn't have an education, they didn't have a better means, so they went to selling drugs and looking for other ways to make ends meet. So I wanted to bring that back to Knoxville, that pride and that community. And I believe that if there are businesses that support and hire people, it makes for a better community. It decreases crime, and it just, again, makes for a better community. C.A. Nelson. That's my great-grandfather. Again, he taught me and my brother, no matter who you are, the janitor or the mayor, you always want to leave the house looking like somebody. And for that reason, I'm forever grateful for him for instilling that into us and just being a good person, all in all. The one thing that I believe that from a community stance and where we are in this day and time is that we don't have family traditions, and we used to eat dinner, every Sunday after church, and great grandfathers and people that go, hey, when you get in trouble, I'm gonna pick you up, and this is the right way to do things, and lead by example. So for that, I just wanted to say thank you to my great grandfather for giving us that too. So here we go. I mentioned it before. We work with a lot of professional football players, and as a matter of fact, that's how I started, was through the process of having men that couldn't find clothes that fit them. Their waists were small, butts big, and their legs really long. And so we started doing custom denim. And that's Bill's problem as well. So we took care of Bill. It doesn't look like it because it fits now, Bill. So it's cool. So yeah, we're fortunate enough to work with Coach Heupel and for the ladies, what's the baseball coach's name? And so we also do a ton of weddings. So we also offer a process where you get to come in and sit down, and women want great wedding pictures. So instead of renting a tuxedo that doesn't fit, that you have to take back, that costs $500-600, why not bring your family and your groomsmen to the shop where you bring the photographer there and they take pictures of moments, and then the guys actually get a great suit or tuxedo that they can use for years to come unless they gain weight. There you go. So again, the subscription service and focusing on 300 clients and making them feel really special. So let's talk about where we are and where I am today. I'm forever grateful. I fell down, I got back up, and kept my business open, which is by the grace of God again. In Knoxville, I remember a time not 10 years ago that you could literally run naked down Gay Street and no one would see you. And look where we are now. And just the baseball stadiums being built and the growth of Knoxville is actually a cool place to live. I travel around the United States, and I'm in California and Florida. And it's so strange that 15 years ago, I would tell people, I'm from Knoxville. He's like, you from Knoxville? And it was like, you got cows there? And I was like, yeah, it's not like that. So I actually hear people saying really amazing things about the city of Knoxville now, no matter where I'm at. I'm in foreign countries. I go, oh, you're from Knoxville? That's a cool place. I hear Blackberry Farms. There's a ton of great chefs there, great food, great culture. It's a cool city, and it's not congested like Nashville, which I hope we never get to, because I'm really proud and I enjoy living in Knoxville. So I want to also say to the Rotary Club, thank you for making Knoxville an amazing place. I appreciate the values of the Rotary Club, networking, growing businesses. So please, if you need a suit, come see me. I have cars. And helping with the growth of Knoxville. So I do, again, want to thank you again for having me here. and being able to speak to you guys. And it was an amazing experience, and keep doing what you're doing. Please, yeah.
How long does it take to turn around, like if somebody comes in for a measurement, they want a suit, or let's say they want a white dinner jacket. How long does it take to turn around from the time they come in to measure until they've actually got the finished product in their hands?
Two things. One is we do have off the rack items. But specifically a made to measure item generally takes 4 weeks. 4 to 6 weeks is what we allow. So you go through the process of picking out the fabric. Obviously, we take your measurements, and then for the production piece, we generally give it 4 to 6 weeks.
And so comparison wise, how much of what you do is off the rack and how much of it's custom?
About 70-30.
Okay.
Yeah, about 70-30.
Okay.
As a matter of fact, denim used to be our leader, and again, we were phasing out of the Mark Nelson denim part to the Mark Nelson because we actually do custom suiting. So from a ticket value or a dollar stance, denim is about 30% of our business now, and then made to measure and suiting is about 60 or so, and then the rest is accessories and so on.
Talk a little bit about your new golf line, et cetera.
Right. So we just launched a new golf line, and he was generally asking me, so how much production do you do in Knoxville or downtown now? So after COVID, we weren't able to bring most of our employees back. So at one point we had 15 employees, and then after COVID now we're standing, we go fluctuate between 4 and 6 employees here in Knoxville. We have a full-time tailor, and I'm gonna answer your question, I'm sorry. We have a full-time tailor that's there that you have to have a full-time tailor in this business. And that's a dying art. That's literally, if my guy dies, I'm in big trouble. I'm like, I'm gonna have to go, I don't know. So, but we did just launch our golf line, and it's made in China, it's offshore, but most of the items, all of our denim t-shirts are made in the US, and then we do some things that are like our golf line that we had to do offshore. Yes, sir. Yes, ma'am.
Do you have fashion training, or was this just something you love doing, or where's?
I get asked that a lot. No. When I was a kid, growing up, there was my oldest brother, Manrico, who was 6'4" and 280 pounds. And then I had a younger brother who was 5'9" and 280 pounds. And I was 80 pounds soaking wet. And every time we went outside, I would end up with some stitches or something broken. And my mom said, keep your butt in the house. I'm gonna teach you how to sew. And so that was at 11. So that's where it started. But again, all my life, I watched my great-grandfather and my grandmother, and they were just all about, dressing. That was the deal. And so it's just something that comes to me naturally. But no, I did not go to school. Right. Yes, sir.
How can we find out more about those bourbon events?
Here's my card.
Is it on the webpage?
It is also on the webpage. Yeah, please. But yeah, it is. It's on the webpage. So there's a landing page that if you want to host a Bourbon and Blazers event or party, please just go there and send us an email with a date. And we do a lot of that with like fundraising. So we'll use that as an auction item. And basically, you host 6 to 10 people, and we provide the bourbon and the charcuterie or food and the whole deal and the location. And it's a really cool event. Yeah, please. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
My husband and I recently attended your Parkinson's fundraising event in 23.
Yes, ma'am.
And then in December, we were there at your event, and he ordered 2 blazers and a pair of jeans and bought shirts. And anyways,
is this a good
wonderful
story or is this?
Yeah.
Next question, please.
He couldn't come today, but he said to tell you hello, and he loves your product.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thank you. I'll give you a $20.
Yeah, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll just make a testimony as a nonprofit that actually, very generously hosted an event. It is a great way to raise some money among some of your clientele, and they get, clients that then work with Mark and his team forever, but it also allowed us to raise some money for a nonprofit. So if you have a nonprofit, reach out, because it's a nice little way to make a lot of money for you, and it's a way to also have great touch points if they're potential donors of your organization and so forth. It's a great way to bring them in the fold. So I'll just a testimony, if you will.
Thank you.
Sounds fun.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
Anyone else?
Yes, sir.
Do you have a program where you recycle suits for the community?
One of the, nonprofits that I sit on the board with is called Men House. And so Men House actually brings, men suffering with addiction into an actual house where they house them, feed them, and then get them prepared to go out into the work world. And so I do take those suits and then donate those to the Men House so that they have, interviewing clothes and clothes that they can wear to work. So yes, sir, if that is what you're asking. Yes, sir, right. Any other questions?
Marcus, thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Hey, Marcus, each week we donate a book in honor of our speaker to Knox Elementary School. You will sign. And now we're gonna have the Charlie Harkin